Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to an all-new reaction and review. Tonight, guys, I'm checking out a horror movie from 1982. That movie is The Thing. Yes, guys, believe it or not, I've never seen this movie. I have always wanted to. And God help me, I have not been given a whole lot of chances to watch it. In fact, the only reason why I have a copy is because Shopko was selling it for $5, and I thought, what the hell? And it's been sitting on my shelf for months. I decided I'm going to finally watch this thing. I'm going to finally sit down and see if this damn thing is any good. I have heard awesome things. Thank God no one has told me about the plot outside of some kind of like an alien virus thing that turns people into these like mutant creature things, but they've never told me what the fuck they look like. I have no idea. I am looking forward to this thing, guys, because I know that it's from John, Carpenter, and 9 times out of 10, Carpenter's always guaranteed for awesome. So I'm hoping for this thing to be any good. I mean, I'm really hoping for it to be good, but the only way I'm going to find out if it is any good is if I shut up and I push play, and I'm going to do that right now. So, without further ado, it's time to kick back, relax, and check out The Thing. Okay. I totally understand it kind of sucks to lose at chess, especially against a fucking computer, but I don't think that forcibly offering the computer a drink and shorting it out is really the best way to cope with losing. Granted, it was totally cool, but still, just a little bit uncalled for, you know? Alright guys, I'd kind of like to say right now, God damn it, that is one of the ugliest goddamn hats I've ever seen. You have Kurt, Russell, who's just made of pure fucking badass, and you make him look like a fucking doofus with that stupid hat. Well, I'm kind of happy he's finally taken it off, but I actually kind of hope he burns it. That hat is fucking ugly as shit. I just kind of wanted to share. Okay, I didn't expect to see that. That was good and disgusting. Wow, and it just gets worse, doesn't it? Jesus God, that creature's fucking nasty looking. So wait a moment, wait. Let me see if I understand this. If these burned husks of alien whatever are still technically alive, if there's still cellular activity, then why the hell are you putting them in a storeroom instead of in a fucking freezer somewhere in order to maybe, I don't know, keep them, like docile? I totally understand that they are in the fucking Arctic and probably putting them in a freezer is not really the most logical thing to do, but to me it makes a lot more motherfucking sense than putting them in a fucking thought-out storeroom, okay? It just sounds stupid. Guys, I would just sort of like to share this right now. This movie is building a perfect atmosphere of isolation and paranoia. I am really loving this fucking movie so far, guys. Okay, I was not expecting that. That was good and fucked up. Alright, so apparently this creature does not like to be electrocuted. That is good to know, and that is disgusting as shit. Okay, I really think, guys, that I may have found a problem with this whole, blood test thing. I'd like to say that it sounds really good in theory. However, though, if there are multiple creatures amongst your group, and it now knows what happens when they notice that its blood reacts to heat, then don't you think that they would then try to control their blood if provided that they know how to control their blood so that way it doesn't react to heat, so that way it's able to blend in better? I mean, I honestly, guys, am not trying to blow holes into this movie. It's just that I really think that at least, with a large group, this whole fucking, blood test thing only fucking works until one person fails it. You know what I mean? You know, guys, I would kind of like to say this right now. Every single time that I think I have seen the absolute most that this movie is going to give me in terms of special effects, it constantly finds ways to top itself. That is absolutely horrifying. Yeah, so I will say that at least in terms of special effects, this movie's fucking amazing. Okay, well, that ending was just a little bit of a downer. Well, guys, that was The Thing. Let me shut that off. Okay, now it's time to talk about the movie. Well, first of all, I guess that before I even start, I should say, since this has sort of been made abundantly clear as you guys have been watching, I greatly enjoyed this movie, but I really guess I should try to explain why. Writing. I'd like to say right now that this film has the perfect atmosphere of paranoia and isolation. It is the kind of atmosphere a lot of horror movies will shoot for, and they fail miserably at it. A real good example would be Day of the Dead. That absolutely failed at actually capturing either the paranoia or the isolation of their setting. And John Carpenter here was able to pull it off perfectly with this movie, but then again, I think that's partially because when you have 12 guys and they're all by the South Pole, they're all like half frozen, and they don't know who amongst their group, if any of them, have turned into bizarre like tentacle aliens. You know what? That is going to build a ton of fucking paranoia, and also the very fact that the fact that they have no way out of this situation, that leaves them completely isolated. It really does set the perfect tone. Now, beyond just tone, which also ties into the writing in this thing is spectacular. And because I know that this thing is based on a short story, I'm tempted to read the short story now. I'm kind of curious how close this thing was. Now, I will say I did find a couple of small issues in terms of writing. Specifically, exactly why in the hell would you store the corpses in the storage room as opposed to in possibly like your meat locker or your freezer in order to keep it cold, in order to actually, like preserve any kind of samples you might be able to get out of it. That there was problem one. I mentioned that earlier in the video. I also mentioned my one issue with the whole, like blood test thing, the fact that if this blood is going to struggle to survive, then I have a feeling that if it knows that reacting to heat is going to end poorly for it, I don't really think that any other blood samples would actually work. Now, again, that is just me trying to work in way too much logic into a fucking movie, but it's still kind of a valid point. And even with those small little like hitches, the movie is fantastic because you are able to look past those issues, and under normal circumstances, such as not watching it for the purpose of, actually reviewing it, you would probably not even care. You would just sit down, you would watch it, and you just blast right through it, loving every second of it, because the movie has a perfect pace. The characters are written incredibly well. Everything here, guys, in terms of writing is great, which is also why I can't even really fault those couple of small hitches I found, because frankly, you also have to look at the fact that the characters are all fucking isolated and paranoid as shit, so naturally they would go for something which isn't going to necessarily make a mountain of sense. So yeah, everything there works in terms of writing, and our cast, our very small cast, plays up everything very, very well. And by small cast, I do mean our 12 main characters and our two Norwegians that we, see at the very start of the movie. We have a cast of 14 people, 15 if you count the voice of the fucking computer. But everybody plays everything great. The movie is acted fantastically. In fact, I'm going to tell you guys right now, under normal circumstances, I would usually say that there was like one actor or two actors who stood out and there was something wrong with them. But in this instance, it actually is not, that this actor sucked or this actor sucked. It was like, there was like a small number of lines maybe about a dozen of them, which were honestly a little bit wooden, and they should probably have gone for a second take. However, though, again, those are all real minor lines, and they really aren't going to impact anything. All right. Short. All right, guys. Now let me just make this real short. The acting here is really good, and also those handful of really poorly delivered lines are not going to impact this much. You are still going to have an awesome experience watching this thanks to the acting. Camera work here is really good. The lighting here is great. The lighting is also another one of those things that helps set that perfect atmosphere of just being completely isolated and fucking, and basically, alone with a bunch of guys who you don't know if any of them have turned into these bizarre cloning alien things, which, by the way, those aliens are really cool. Speaking of the aliens, let's talk about special effects. I stated towards the end of the movie, every single time that you think that the movie has topped itself in some way, when you honestly think that you've seen the absolute pinnacle of what these creatures are going to look like, they continue to top themselves. And I'm going to spoil the very first creature, effect you see, guys, for those of you who haven't seen the movie. You see a dog's face split open. And I really thought that was going to be the high point because it looked so fucking good. No, every single time that you see a creature, it gets better and better and better. The movie continues to build up until you get to the final creature, which looks absolutely disgusting but awesome at the same time. These are probably some of the best special effects I have seen from any movie in the early 80s. This thing has fantastic effects, and I would honestly recommend this solely on that. I would say you guys have to see this just to see how fantastic those fucking, special effects were. The soundtrack is the score, rather, is very haunting. The soundtrack is made up, now mind you, I always sort of differentiate the two. Soundtrack is only about 3 songs. The score of the film is fantastic. It's haunting. It's beautiful. I'm tempted to actually download the, score, because it'd be totally worth it. So yes, guys, when all is said and done, I am totally able to recommend this, and just like quite a few other movies, I did not watch it as a kid, which I by all rights should have. I really feel that I fucking missed out on this. I could have been watching this fucker 20 years ago and loving it. Instead, I wait now and I watch it, I love it, and I go, why the fuck didn't I watch it then? I, guys, have not felt this, robbed of part of my childhood since I fucking watched Labyrinth, okay? Both, Labyrinth and The Thing are both movies I really wish I'd have watched about 20 years ago. I'm really happy I have seen them both, and I fucking love them both. I really think that I would have loved them 20 years prior. But hey, the plus side is, I've seen it now, I fucking love it. I picked it up on Blu-ray, and the Blu-ray only cost me $5. So yeah, guys, if you can find a copy of this thing. By the way, I should also mention, in terms of the Blu-ray, the picture quality. Now, I honestly have never seen this thing on DVD or VHS or Laserdisc, so I'm not able to, actually do any kind of, comparison. However, though, the picture quality on this thing is absolutely beautiful, and the sound quality is great, because I actually have noticed a handful of Blu-rays, especially ones for older movies, they usually have a habit of occasionally phoning in the fucking picture quality. This thing here, it looks spectacular. So if you guys can find this thing on Blu-ray, I would highly recommend the Blu-ray, especially since, well, again, I got mine for about $5. You could probably find it for around that same price. You owe it to yourself to add this thing to your Blu-ray collection. This movie is absolutely fucking amazing, and I am very happy to have it as part of my Blu-ray collection. So yes, guys, with that, we come to the close of another reaction and review. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, take care, and I will see you all in the near future. Peace.